All right, we're recording geometry class. For those of you who are not able to join us live, here we are live. Here's the class we're in. This is D period. Hello. Everybody say hello. They're very excited. It's 8:05. All right, if you can't read the board very well, I am going to post a picture of the board in Canvas. But I want to go over, first thing we always do, go to the board. So homework tonight is going to be the syllabus quiz. It will post at the end of the day today. You'll be able to see it pop up and you'll be able to answer it. I did not put a time restriction on it, so you can take as long as you like, but I did put a pledge on it that you are not having the syllabus open at the same time that you are doing the quiz. So study the syllabus first, make note of the important facts, and then take the quiz without having the syllabus open, okay? And that, yes, Knox. When is it due? What is today? Thursday. When do we meet next? So when is it due? Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. You've got plenty of time to do it, all right? That is our only homework. We're gonna go over some other programs that we use, but we won't have any other assignment due besides the syllabus quiz, okay? So what are we gonna do? We're gonna understand the other tech that we use. We are gonna review the rules. I'll go through the syllabus pretty quickly just to kind of pop out some of the stuff that I do differently from other teachers. And I am gonna give you your IXL logons. IXL, if you've not used it before, is kind of a practice program that we use. If you have used it before, I know you hate it. Too bad we're still using it. So in class, we're going to talk about Desmos. Desmos is like a graphing calculator, which is why you don't need to have a fancy graphing calculator, because we're going to use Desmos online for graphing. And then we're going to go around in IXL to make sure you know how to get to where you're going in IXL. And we'll do a few practice problems in IXL to make sure that you know what to do when you get something wrong and where to find your score and how it works when I assign IXL, when I say minutes or score. And we have advisory right after this. So you're headed to advisory right after this. Today is not a chapel day, so you would not stay with me. You're going to advisory. Any questions on what we're doing today? All right, if you brought a device, a tablet or a computer, and you want to get it out and follow along, do that now. If you did not bring a device, I believe both of these websites, number one, have apps you can download, and number two, should work in your mobile browser on your phone. So you can, this is a time when you can get out your phone. In general, I do not like you to get out your phone. This time you can. And for our online folks, I'm going to take you with me. We're traveling through the roof. I like to sing. Let's see if this computer can see. Computer, kind of can. I'm just going to do it on two computers. Share screen. All right, and we'll turn. Oh, I forgot I hit the button. Hey, Colin, will you hit that button under the light bulb that makes the screen come down? And it will take almost 5 minutes. So first I want you to go to desmos.com. Just plain old desmos.com. DESMOS.com. And then Right in the middle of the page, it says graphing calculator. And you can click that. And what comes up is this graph paper looking stuff. What's that called? Does anybody know what that
An XY plane.
looks like? An XY plane, yep, a graph. What else? There are lots of little vocabulary words we can call this. A lattice, yes, a coordinate plane, yes. That's what I was looking for. So this is the coordinate plane. It is a lattice because it's got those little boxes in it. We talk about something being on a lattice point. It means it's right where two of those lines intersect. It's an XY plane because it has X coordinates and Y coordinates. Which one of those lines is an X or a Y? The one that goes side to side or up and down, which one is the X? Yeah, Knox. Side to side is the X, so Y is up and down. Good job, guys. All right, so what Desmos can do is, have you ever heard of your teacher say, solve the system of equations? Solve in Algebra 1, right? Solve the system of equations, and then you had two equations, and you had to line them up and add or subtract them to make one of the variables disappear. Okay, so another way you can solve a system of equations is by graphing and find out where they touch each other, where they cross. So we're gonna do that. I've got an equation, it's y equals negative x minus 3. So if we type that in, y equals negative x, and then you can see, as soon as I get to that point where I've got an x and a y, I've got a line. So that's y equals negative x, straight up. And then when I add the minus 3, it backs that line up 3 units. And there's my line, y equals negative x minus 3. You didn't have to find the slope, you didn't have to find the intercept, it did all of it for you, boom, it's graphed. And you see off to the side where y equals negative x minus 3, to the left of that equation, there's a little red ball with a swoop in it, and the color of our line is red. So if you hit the plus right above that, and we add a second line, or choose f of x expression, that just means function of x, that means y's and x's. And then we put in a new equation, it's going to be y equals minus 2x minus 5. Then we get a blue ball over there, and our line is blue. So you can tell, you can put in many different equations, and each one will take a different color. You could put in 10 equations. They got 10 different colors out there. So you can tell, if you zoom into a spot, you can see where two things are crossing. You can tell which two color lines are crossing. You can go back over and pick out which two equations are. So if I wanted to know where exactly are these two lines crossing, we've kind of zoomed out a little bit. First of all, when we talk about the coordinate plane, it's kind of chopped up into 4 sections. What do we call those sections? David? Quadrants, yes. 4 quadrants. And how do we number those? How do we number the quadrants? There are 4 of them. Olivia? Yes, we start in the upper right. The upper right one is number 1. And then we go counterclockwise, which is a little like opposite of the way Americans might think. So number 2 is in the upper left, number 3 is in the lower left, and number 4 is in the lower right. So our intersection of the lines is in number 3, quadrant 3. And if you click right where they cross, you should get the actual name of the point, or hover. You can just hover. -2, -1. Now, if you want to zoom in, I'm using a mouse, so I can just scroll in, and you eventually can get it to where you can see those numbers. If you're on a touchpad or a touch screen, you can just drag around with your fingers and see. It really is -2, -1, where they cross. So again, you can put any number of equations in here and it will just graph them right for you. Now, how are we going to use this in class? Well, obviously, I'm not going to give you a problem that just says type 2 equations into Desmos, right? That's a little easy. What I will ask you to do is solve a system of equations by graphing. You'll do it in your notebook. But then to check your answer, you can go to Desmos and make sure you're getting the right answer. Okay, so it'll be a homework assignment to do some graphing. Then you can go to Desmos to check your answer to make sure you're getting it right. Okay. So it's a great thing to have to check our answers, to make sure kind of that sanity check. If you're graphing something and you like got an answer way off at, 10:17 and you're like, I'm pretty sure that's not right. Then checking at Desmos and saying, oh, I totally graphed that wrong. I've got the wrong slope, or I've got the wrong intercept. You can figure out which line you got right and which line was off. You can go back to say, okay, let me look at that slope again. So it's a good just check to make sure you're on the right track. Now, Desmos also has a geometry portion. It's at desmos.com/geometry, believe it or not. And that helps us to draw triangles and measure angles. So once we get out of our Algebra 1 review, we are going to go into the geometry side of Desmos, and we will be using that a lot to draw triangles, to measure their angles, and also to even draw circles and other geometric figures. So we will use Desmos to draw triangles, and like you'll actually do your homework in Desmos. Okay, because it's tough to draw angles, even with our protractors. Using protractors to measure angles is tough. So to actually do them right in a computer where they can draw exactly a 25-degree angle or exactly a 90-degree angle even is much easier than trying to use your protractor to do that in your book. So we'll use the geometry side of Desmos a lot. Any questions on Desmos? That's something you want to bookmark, save, desmos.com. Okay. Now, the other website is iExcel. So if you've been around web, I think you know what iExcel is. Who has not used iExcel? Hands up, hands up. We've got a couple, just a couple. Okay. You're going to go to iExcel.com and then /math/geometry. So I've got it up on the screen there. You can see it. And I would say that the trickiest thing about iExcel is, number one, you need your login, which I have right here. Once you have your login and you're logged in, you can tell the system to save your login. But if you look at the screen there, you can see that it saved my login, but that's all. It saved my name and my password. It didn't keep me logged in. So you have to be very careful that you still click that login button. If you don't click login, it doesn't record your score. And if you don't have a score, then I don't know that you did it. And then you didn't do it because you don't have a score. Then you have to do it again. So make sure that once you type in your credentials, you hit login, and every time you go back, make sure you hit login, and that's whether you're on your phone or just on the website. And speaking of passwords, I have them for you. So Brooklyn, May, and Olivia, come on down. Gage. Knox, I sent you an email, right? Almost turned over my chair. Let's see, Amir. Right here. Ryan. Evan. Walker. Cohen. Whoops, where is it? Bennett and David. Okay, everybody got one? Yes, we're good. We're good. So when I sign in, you'll see that some of my sections here in the A section, some of my lines turn yellow and they have a yellow star next to them. That means that I've assigned those sections to be worked. That doesn't mean I want you to work them right now or even tonight. They aren't an assignment for you to do until I put them in Canvas. So I just marked these because they're good algebra review, and I didn't want to forget that they're good algebra review that we need to do. So it doesn't mean you have to go through and do all of these tonight. Don't go in and do them all. There are also some in a different tab, but I'll show you that in a minute. So in general, as we move forward, if you see something with a star, it's something you need to do. But I have like 30 things marked with a star right now, so you don't have to do all that right now. What I want to show you is when you log in, if you just log into iexcel.com and put in your login, you're just going to end up on the learning page. And what I want to make sure you do is scroll down. You can see this is pre-K, kindergarten. It goes through all the grades until it gets to Algebra 1 and geometry. Make sure you're on the G tab, okay? All of these different tabs have an A section, a B section. So if I say work B1, I'm assuming you're on the geometry tab. If you're on the 8th grade tab, there's a B1, and it's going to tell you like how to add numbers together or something. I don't know what it tells you for B1. So if suddenly you're adding fractions or something, think Mrs. Edwards would not be telling me to add fractions. Double check and make sure you're on the geometry tab. Okay, there you go. So make sure you're on the geometry tab. I will assign a couple of things off the Algebra 1 tab during our review, but I will specifically say this is on the Algebra 1 tab. Otherwise, everything's on the geometry tab, okay? So I do have a few things under this algebra review. I'm going to back it up to the A1 tab, the Algebra 1 tab. And there is, I think it's under S. Yeah. I highlighted a bunch of stuff under part S because it's finding the slope and understanding how to graph lines. That was something that last year's classes struggled with a lot, remembering point slope form, standard form, slope intercept form, and graphing lines. And we do that a lot because that's how we build triangles, is we graph 3 lines, we find where they all intersect, and then 3 sides make a triangle. And understanding slope is critical because that can tell us if lines are parallel or perpendicular. So I'm not going to assign all of these, and I'm certainly not going to assign this many in one day, but I will pick out some of them to assign. What I will say is that if you look through some of these and you're thinking, I don't even know what that means, you might want to take a look at some examples in there and refresh your memory. I did get a note from a student today that said, so I'm supposed to do all those stars? No, don't do all of these. Wait until they show up as an assignment in Canvas. Nothing is an assignment until it's an assignment in Canvas. Okay. Now, how I assign IXL is I ask you to do a certain number of minutes or get a minimum grade. So let's go back to geometry, and I'm going to go to the easiest problem set you've ever seen, B1. Lines, line segments, and grades. And I forgot to sign in over here on the recording. So let me just show really quick. We've got some start items. And I'm going to go into B1. So lines, line segments, and rays. And it's just going to ask you, what is this? What is that? A line segment, or a ray? It's a line segment, yeah. So we say line segment, we submit it, and it says, woo, yes, you did it right. What about the next one?
Right.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to hit submit. So yeah, it'll tell you if you mess up. It's, and I did it wrong. So if I do something wrong, then it tells you, I'm sorry, you did something wrong. And then when you scroll down, it gives you an explanation of what you did wrong, and it tells you why. So in this case, it's going to give you the definition of a line segment, and array, and then it's going to say, this is why you missed things. Here's the definition. Now look at what I told you, and this is why you were wrong. And then you just say, oh, I get it. And then it gives you a new problem. So over here at the side, it's giving us what they call a SMART score. So it's not the percentage of what you got right. It's just giving you points as you go along. If you miss something, it'll take away some points. And then it'll give you a little bit easier question and let you go back again and start on some harder questions. And so usually how I assign IXL is I will say, do 10 minutes of this or get an 80 SMART score, which means if you can get an 80 SMART score in 6 minutes, then you only have 6 minutes and you can stop. If you are working and after 10 minutes you only have a 60 score, then you worked your 10 minutes, you can stop. So it's one or the other, either work 10 minutes or get an 80. Now, how I decide what those numbers are is usually 10 minutes or score 80. But if I go into something like this, and I know that it only takes you 5 minutes to get an 80, then I'm going to say 5 minutes or 80, but I'm going to add more than one other assignment into here. So I do go through these and do them to see how long they take. If I assign an extra hard one and I know that it's extra hard and it's going to take longer, then I might say you only need a 60 score in 10 minutes because I know it's a lot, something that's long that you're going to have to work out in your notebook. Okay. I usually do assign 2 IXLs, so they're 10 minutes each, 80 score for both. And there might be problems out of your problem book at the same time.
Will that be our grade? Or like...
No, so you will get, last year I made it a 10-point assignment. Your homework's usually, like when you do a homework problem, it's usually a 2-point homework. So I think I'm gonna cut IXL down a little bit and just make it a, I don't know, either a 2 or 3-point assignment for each. So like B1 would either be 2 or 3 points, B2 would either be 2 or 3 points. Yeah, so it's not, if you, as long as you do it up to the 10 points or the score 80, then you get 2 out of 2 or 3 out of 3. Yeah. The other thing is I can see all the questions you answer. I can see what you answered, and I can see how much time you spent. So on this one, it's multiple choice. So you could just be going line, submit, next, submit, next, submit, next, submit. And I caught someone doing that. That person answered, most people answered about 60 questions during their 10 minutes. This person answered 270 questions. And their SMART score was a 40 instead of an 80. So they were just answering the first question, the first answer every time to get in their 10 minutes. But their score looked like this. Most scores look like this, right? You get better and better and better, and you get a high score. This person's score went like this. It was chance. He was just picking the first answer every time on a multiple choice question. I found that to be very close to cheating, but not quite. So he got a warning. So just remember that I can see the questions. I can see what you answered. Most of the answers are fill in the blank. So if you're putting QXT and WYX and 127 for every answer, I can see that you're answering those things that way. So I know some of you might hate IXL, but I find it a good way for you to practice. If you are not doing well with IXL, it could be because you don't understand the concept and you need to come to extra help. There are many times when somebody just came in and said, I don't understand IXL, and I said, let's do it together. I will do IXL with you. I don't mind. And remember, I'm here for extra help the first period of lunch when middle schoolers are at lunch, and after school. If you want me after school, I'm here after school. So don't let IXL trip you up. Also, if you jump into IXL and you start to do it and you're like, wait a minute, did we even talk about this? Don't waste 20 minutes on 2 parts of IXL that you think you've never seen before. I would rather you send me an email and say, Ms. Edwards, I have no idea what you are talking about with these 2 IXLs. Can I do them tomorrow? I would rather you do that than struggle for 20 minutes and want to throw your computer out the window and hate me forever. So please don't struggle. And that goes with homework too. Don't struggle through for a long time on something that you don't understand. Send me an email or call me, WeChat me, whatever. And let me know. If you've got a question, I can answer it. If you just don't get it, then we'll put it off till tomorrow and get it right. The last thing I want is for you to have frustration. So we'll figure it out. And late doesn't matter if you can get it. Okay? So that's our technology. I do want to show you, I started something new in Canvas that's a little more, not that, that's attendance. I did take attendance. Everybody's here except. All right, so if you go to modules in Canvas now, I've rearranged them a little. So I'm still just in module 1, give me a break. But I've started putting in what I call, I don't remember what I call them, but I've linked in kind of like an overview of what we did in class. So the first day of school for you guys with me was Tuesday, right? I know Monday was the first day of school, but the first time you saw me was Tuesday. So the 18th was your first day of school with me. And what I did was I put what we did on the first day of school in this dated entry. And I mentioned that our homework was the Getting to Know You Google form, and it's linked there, so you can just jump right into it and do it. But then underneath that is the actual assignment. So if you click into the Get to Know You, then it explains how to do it, and it gives you the link to the form. So the 19th and 20th, that's today, yep. So I talk about, this is where we are. We looked at Desmos, we looked at IXL, and our homework for today is the syllabus quiz. Now, if we go backwards, underneath, this is what we did in class, is here's the syllabus quiz. Now, the syllabus quiz is not yet available to you. I made it so that you can't see it until 3:30 today, which maybe I should have because you might have a study hall, right? I did it because F period won't get to see it until they're out. But if you have a study hall, you could work on it. I'm just talking it through. What do you think? Do you want me to make it available ASAP? No, I'm saying no's. I can't break it up and make it available at different times for different classes. So do I just make it available as of 8 o'clock this morning, or do I wait till the end of the day? Thoughts? Do you care? No, no one cares. Okay, it's available at the end of the day. But so when you click on syllabus quiz right now, you're gonna see nothing. And when you click on it after 3:30 today, you're gonna see the syllabus quiz. And remember, the syllabus quiz is after you've studied the syllabus and you're not using the syllabus to take the quiz. So the next little thing you'll see is the 21st, because my ABC4 classes have class tomorrow, and then the 24th, which is when you will have class on Monday. And so it'll say 21st through 24th, and it will tell you what we are doing in class on Monday, and then it'll have your assignment linked under that, whatever it is that we're doing, which I kind of don't know yet. So that way, if you miss a day, you have exactly what we're doing in class and what the homework is. And my intent is to put a whole week's worth of stuff out there so you can see, what are we doing in class? What's our homework? What are we doing in class? What's our homework for the whole week? So no secrets. And Canvas has a button. If I happen to go in and change something, say I planned to do 3 things in class and we only got to 2, and I realized, ooh, I overplanned, we really only going to get to 2, and I have to move something to later, there's a button for me that says, tell students you changed something or something like that. So you would get a notification or an email that I changed it. Okay, and today is Thursday. We're here until 9 o'clock. We have plenty of time. Any questions on any of our technology today? Nope, all quiet. Okay, well, I'm going then to say goodbye to our distance learners and stop our recording.